Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, True Divine 44. You can also get me on my Facebook page and Bitchute channel at True Divine 44. And it's the True Divine for both Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, follows there are great. And thank you very much for everybody who does that. I appreciate you all. You help bring clients to my door regarding, me sustaining my life by helping others with the spiritual coaching, readings and energy work. So thank you so much to everybody who does it. This is where I give back, and it's the daily energy readings where I combine the tarot and the energy work that I do to help bring a narrative to you, to help guide your day, help you recognize the energies within yourself, around you and within others, and reach your highest potential. So this is for the 5th of February 2021. You'll have to excuse I've got dry skin. I tattoo other people and they have no reaction. They have, it heals so quick without the dry skin, and I do myself, and damn, every time I have to put so much Vaseline on, and the skin, it heals like super fast. So I get layers of it. So that's just an explanation for flaky eyebrows. So, but it's a jealousy that I tattoo other people. I tattoo my mom's eyebrows, and bang, that's it, done. No dry skin, no healing required, just done. The skin's just so balanced that way. So where are we? So we have on the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Wands. And so there is time to take action in your individual life somewhere today, somehow today. There is a call in to take serious action. The ideas that you've been brewing in the 2 of Wands have now turned into the energy of the 3 of Wands, where action needs to be taken in order to fulfill the manifestations that you are trying to manifest. It's a get it done kind of day. It's a push it kind of day. Even if you're feeling tired, push it, because the energies are rewarding for that today. Be constructive about the action that you take. On the collective stage, I just want to see what comes out here, because there's certain announcements that are going to be made. Again, keep looking out for how many deaths there are being reported of known people in the eye of the collective. What do you call them? Actors, rappers, singers, and the like. Look out for that, because they're really ramping up on that, and this is down to the fact that they are needing these sacrifices by the numbers, by the code, for the low frequency magic to manifest the desires as to how they're going forward regarding the attack on the collective, to try and control. So there is lots of ritualistic, and it'll be put in a headline regarding a shock death or a death from cancer. Note that there'll be far less deaths linked to the core, thing. There'll be far less deaths linked to that, because they are wanting to ramp that down now for a little while and bring it back at a later date, I'm sure. But for political reasons, they're wanting to bring that down. And of course they can, because they just manifested and fixed those numbers in the first place. So there'll be far less deaths than there were in the prominent eye of the collective that are linked to that now. It'll be linked to other things like crashes, like cancer, like shootings, all of those things. There's a lot to come up for today for that, and for the foreseeable for now. So we've got the Seven of Wands to clarify this Three of Wands. So this is, you know, they're in the defensive and they need to ramp up that ritual. They need to ramp up that energy, that sacrifice. But right now, the action that they're taking, they still have somewhat of a higher ground. They still have somewhat of a hold that they shouldn't have on the collective. So the King of Wands in reverse to clarify the Seven of Wands, the Sun in reverse. So the King of Wands, very narcissistic energy, very I'm going to get what I want, how I want energy. And so we'll be seeing this play out on the collective stage very much so today, where, you know, the sun is shining, but in their own dark shadows. So they've got too much fire still. They're being given too much attention, too much fire still, by people buying into these headlines. You see, they are spells, and they're coded spells. And so, you know, clapping for Captain Tom, you know, putting a ribbon out for whoever else in the prominent eye who's died. It might seem great at the time, it might seem, but it's virtue signaling, and through that virtue signaling they're gaining the energy, they're gaining the fire that they need to process and finish off that spell. And so it's important that we drown that out. It's important that we extinguish that fire, either by stating on whatever headline that we know what you're doing and putting down the code, if you know the codes of the spell, to let them know that more people are watching, more people can see what they're doing, or indeed not giving it any energy at all, and not sharing it, not entering into it. And of course, this could be taken wrong, which puts people on the defensive. But in doing this, you're still in the higher ground, because a lot of people don't know this knowledge, and a lot of people, if they did know it, wouldn't acknowledge it. And so it puts people, for instance, yesterday, I got a message, at least 6 messages to clap for Captain Tom. He's an 100-year-old man who is linked to secret societies, who supposedly raised 33 million you know, for the NHS, of which we have no transparency as to how that would be spent, where that money went. But again, that 33, all of the numbers combined, and then the clapping for it, everybody was going crazy. And me and a couple of other people were sending messages back to say no. And at first it was absolutely, we felt on the higher ground in saying that, no, we're not going to enter into that. We're not going to give that energy. And I wouldn't even give them any more of a response to that, because I knew it would be dead in the water. And so, but basically they took it to heart that we were trashing on a poor old man who has died from COVID. I went and said it again, but so, but it was the Seven of Wands position. I felt I was on the higher ground, and so did a few others, knowing and seeing this code in this headline, in saying, no, I'm not going to clap at all. You know, every passing can be difficult, but it's a transition. He was 100, and I think he knew what he was doing. I really do. And if he didn't, then the puppet masters did. And so I'm not going to give them back that energy. And so it's that kind of thing rolling into today also, a continuation of that kind of thing. And so these virtue signalers might be getting at you quite a bit today for the action that you do decide to take that goes against the narrative that we're being asked to follow right now. But you are on the higher ground, you're in the Seven of Wands, but be wary of this energy for sure in the reverse, this King of Wands, Knight of Wands. This is very narcissistic. It will do anything to get what it wants, when it wants, and very fiery, very quick to temper. So we've got on the bottom of the other deck is the Two of Pentacles. Now I could go on for ages about this. I'm going to try and not, but the Two of Pentacles is a call in to balance out two aspects of your physical reality. So a lot of us are juggling right now. A lot of us are homeschooling. A lot of us are trying to find work, or trying to make work whilst homeschooling, things like that. You're balancing out two different aspects of your physical reality. Now, it might be in relationship that when things aren't in flow, when things aren't flowing freely, then we end up in this juggling position of this Two of Pentacles, which is exhausting eventually. And so there's a push here to concentrate and be brave enough to concentrate on one aspect of your physical reality, and what was meant to flow with that will flow with that, and what doesn't, then you have to maybe not be so afraid of dropping that pentacle, dropping that aspect of your physical reality, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a certain type of work, or a certain type of routine, whatever it is. There's something that you have to be brave enough to let go of if you have to, if it doesn't end up flowing with you when you go forward with directed intent towards something else full force. It also speaks more deeply of this the separation of the collective remaining very deep, and those two, they are two completely different worlds now. And although we're getting a few crossover to more awareness, to more sight, to more foresight, to more foreknowing, it's a trickle. There's still a very vast separation, and you know, I've felt for a long time that this is how it was going to be, and that was it's people's choice. And there's an aspect of choice, but then you question yourself, how much of that is choice when you've grown up in such manipulation and corruption? But then again, you look at the higher frequency side of the separation, you think, well, they've grown up the same. And so they've made that choice to fight through the sludge, through that aspect of reality, to see more truth and to seek more truth endlessly. I'm constantly seeking more truth. The other thing is that, you know, there's this, there's an aspect of reality that I can feel bubbling up, that many people would quiver to face, particularly those who have been asleep, comatose. There's this darkness, and Wayne Steiger keeps mentioning it too. So I know that I'm feeling what I'm feeling and seeing, and I see it like, you know, in a forest where there's a real thick fog, a real thick mist, a wet fog, but it's black. It's black, and it's sort of where it has been under the surface, but, you know, very much there and in effect. There's this, you can feel it coming up, rising up like that fog. And it is some things that we're going to have to face, and they are very much among that fog, in those that are in political power, those that are in sort of Hollywood influencer power, in the finance power and in the medicine power, that they are very much affected, and if not affected, more so a part of intrinsically of that black fog, and that they swim in that deliberately so, and are connected to that deliberately so. And so where there is this separation of the collective, there is also the collective and the other aspect of reality that is bubbling up very much so, and it's very thick, dense, and black as far as my visions show me. And there are different, there's different beings here, and CERN is very, very active. Frequency, direction, frequency harnessing and frequency direction is very, very active. And so we do need to be aware in the spiritual community. We do need to be aware of this. That this is a reckoning of sorts, a reckoning with self and a reckoning with those that we've allowed to hijack humanity a long time ago. And there's this bravery happening where the shadows are appearing. And so this is where we do have to really find balance in our individual lives, to be at our strongest, to be at our most sturdy, most grounded, most high frequency. For this challenge, for this that we will face one way or the other, if we want to liberate this realm, or liberate those within it, onto the next. So we have, the first card is the Seven of Pentacles, and this speaks to not being afraid to be in flow regarding that Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. In that we give freely of what we have without worry. This lady has a baby. She's balanced well, though. She has a basket, and she's so balanced and so in flow that she fears not giving some bread, some nourishment to this old man, that is not in balance. He's got one leg that isn't in order. His staff is on the floor. He does not have sturdiness, no balance. Even his shoulders are tilted, he's in pain, he's struggling, and she gives freely of that. And there's protection in that. If you look at the dog, that she just knows that she is not going to lose out by being in that flow, by being in this deck, generosity. That she has worked and worked in a balanced way to build up enough that she has an excess to be able to give forward. And this is how she creates flow. There's a knowledge here in the energy of this card that if she was to hold on to it, it would rot. Maybe there's enough bread that if she didn't give this loaf away, then it would just rot and go to waste. So it's that balance and that flowing, that paying forward that makes such a difference in the collective today. And many of you will be touched by this just out of the blue. Somebody giving something forward for something that you've done. And in many cases, many of you won't even think you've done very much at all for this person to then go and do this for you, whatever this is. But in fact, you have. It's been a kind word, it's been a kind smile, a hug when needed, something that you thought was meaningless that meant so much to somebody else, and it has been remembered. And so this is a beautiful thing. This is the paying forward. This is the flow. And in flow, more things come. The people that are giving are not afraid of being in lack. They're paying forward because they know they've got the spiritual wisdom to know that by doing that without fear, they bring in even more gifts to their nourishment in every which way. It's pentacles in all of the physical aspects of life. And so this is a beautiful thing. It is clarified, believe it or not, by the Six of Pentacles in this deck, which speaks of balanced generosity, having the wisdom to know what to give, and where to give it, and when to give it, and being in flow with that, and that being always a balanced place to be in, that it comes in, you can use what you need to use, and it flows out. Because it flows out, there's space for more to flow in. You are the scales. And so this being your balance point, your arms being the arms, whatever flows in this, you transmute it through, whether you're physically giving, spiritually giving, emotionally giving, mentally giving, whatever it is, it flows through and forward to the right person. And you know that in that balanced state, you're just making space for more to fill this dish on this side of your scales yet again. A great meditation is to imagine that, be the scales, if you're able to put your arms out. If you're not, put your arms down on your lap and just visualize the arms of your scales and the balls at the bottom of your scales, and balance that out. See where you can pay forward, see where you can put flow into your life, and being able to make space for more to come. And so what speaks to me is, and I know it's going to speak to one of you or maybe a few of you, is that there's somebody that you gave to and you didn't even know who they were. You didn't even know quite how powerful they were, spiritually, mentally, financially, physically, whatever it is. There's something that you didn't even question, you know, am I giving this to, you know, somebody who can, who can pay it back? Am I giving this to somebody who it's worth giving to? You just gave. It seems to me that in this card, that this guy is almost like an angel in disguise, if you want, for want of a better word. I just know they're the right words to say to whoever needs to hear this. A powerful spirit indeed, in whatever power that is. And you just don't know who you're giving to, and you just can never quite guess what they are going to do for you because you're just paying it forward. But something comes from an experience like that that will blow your mind today. Either one, two, or hopefully many of you. And I know many of you who listen have gotten to know you more personally, and I know you're the type that would do this. It's the ones that you least expect. That's what I keep hearing. It's the ones that you least expect. And it comes back, it's coming back today. So that's great. And I put total intent behind that for those who that is meant for. Now we've got another 6 with the 6 of swords. And you see here, this old man is playing a game. He's got his sword, his knife in the middle, and these markers all around, different colors, different meanings to those colors, going in different directions. He's strategizing, he's thinking. The game can get tiring. Looking at this old man, he's old and tattered and a bit bruised up. And to be in the game, to take the game too seriously is, what tattoos has he got on? Oh, he's got an ankh on. Oh, he's got, oh, wow. He's got the Eye of Horus. So there's, again, the ones that are in disguise are in the greatest of knowing. He's got other tattoos on here too. He's got the sacred scarab on him. And so knowing the game, knowing the meaning of life, he can see through the game. He can see through the process of those that use the game against others who aren't quite so willing to look at the game, to see the game, to recognize the game, and be in closer connection with self and the occult, the hidden knowledge that has been taken, which was part of the game. When you're playing with somebody and you have somebody, maybe, you know, you're playing Monopoly and you have somebody who just, you know, buys up the cheap houses and, you know, goes around, you know, just enjoying the game. And they seem to be, but you have the other one who wants the certain colors, you know, the certain good streets, because that looks good. But it means they can only afford those certain ones. And, you know, the one that has just been plotting through the game, not really attached to the game, not really of the game, but just enjoying the game, observing the game, ends up getting ahead because they've just strategized their way through, but they've done it in flow. You find that the people who are the ones that want the certain colors, that are so attached to the game and find themselves in the game, they end up throwing everything everywhere. The whole board goes up everywhere. It's taken far too seriously, and they lose it. So this is where it's important that right now what is going on, in the collective, they have been desperately trying to grind people down enough in every element. through ritual, taking every element and grinding it and limiting it and oppressing and suppressing the people, so that we've got people who are so fixated on the headline, so fixated on the game now, so fixated on Q that they're losing it. And so it's important that we don't give them what they want. We observe the game, we know the game, but we're not of the game. And this is where we see the cracks. This is where we can strategize better. This is where we can respond better, because we are not, you know, one of the ones that throw the game up in the air and then lose all aspect, lose all perception and strategy. So that's powerful. But I've got to look at those tattoos a bit more later. That's great. And it's growth. The Six of Swords is growth. It's moving on to a calmer place. That's not to say there isn't external forces still, but to move to a calmer space in your mind, the swords be in your mind, your thoughts, your words, the air that you breathe, and so much more, to you actually being, you know, these thoughts that, you know, they fire up through the brain, but, you know, are they off the brain? I don't think so. So we've got this aspect of growth here, no matter what the external whirlwinds there are outside, to be able to find balance again in that mentally, and then deliver our words and our thoughts through our words in a strategic, balanced, intelligent way. That's where the wisdom lies. That's where the growth lies. And that's where you end up winning the game, whether it's in your personal life or on the collective stage. If you're doing it in your personal life, you're having an impact on the collective stage regardless. So be aware of that in your own life, to not be too much of the game. In relationships, you often get people who are less aware, that keep trying, if they don't feel connected to you the way that they used to, they'll keep trying to make you of a certain old game that the relationship used to represent, maybe the bickering, or maybe the ownership of certain things, or trying to entice you into the game where they feel comfortable, where they feel connected. And there's a lot of you recognizing that I'm not part of that game anymore. That game doesn't even resonate with me anymore. It doesn't even connect with me anymore. And so be aware of that there might be some reactions from others around you that want to, you know, metaphorically throw the game board up in the air and have all the pieces drop. This is where you can be balanced and observant in that, but, you know, not be part of that. It's just they're feeling uncomfortable, they're feeling unhinged, and so they need to try and draw back some kind of normality, even if that normality is something that most people would say, well, why do you want to fight? Why do you want to bicker? Why do you want to even bring that up? I mean, we sorted that out years ago. I gave you the cat, you know, and I kept the dog. What? You know, but they're feeling uncomfortable. They know that there's an ending to something between a lot of you, whether that's friendship, whether that's relationship, whatever it is, there's this ending, and that's where they try to entice you back into any old game, whatever it might be, even if it was resolved years ago, just so that they can feel anchored to that, at least grounded to that, at least it's some normality at least. And unfortunately, you can't give them that. You can't do that for them, not now that you've leveled up that bit more, not now that you've moved up that ladder. So we've got the 10 of Wands to clarify. The Six of Swords, the ending of a hard, burdensome cycle. And it's as if today, when, for those people that resonate with this, in that you have those people around you throwing the metaphorical game board up in the air with all of the pieces going everywhere, then, you know, you find this relief afterwards, when because the game board going up in the air is them realizing that, oh shit, they're not biting. I'm not going to find my grounding here. And it brings in this 10 of Wands, and it's as if you can breathe and think, you know, my shoulders feel lighter. something is lifted. And it's that energy of you not feeling responsible any longer to ground other people by doing and playing old games, old scripts from your past that just do not work for you anymore, that just do not resonate with you anymore. They don't even match frequencies. You're like this, you know, passing ships on different seas. You're not even bouncing together anymore in those short periods of time. And again, whether this be exes, friendships, lovers, relationships, whatever it might be, however it resonates with those it resonates with, there's this relief. And so know that that's coming if you play the game by not playing the game, if that makes sense. So we've got the Ace of Wands after that. So that's brilliant. We go from the 10 of Wands to the Ace of Wands. And I love this Ace of Wands. Look at that. He's ready. He's poised. He's powerful. And the Ace of Wands is fiery passions, driven, focused. You know, knowing the meaning of life, with this ancient scarab again on the sort of headdress of this guy, knowing the meaning of life, and the dung beetle, this here, is actually, people would look at it now and look and think that, oh, it's a dung beetle. Why would it be so worshipped? Why not worshipped? Recognized. But it's actually a meaning of the cycle of life, in that the dung beetle, you know, takes even waste, rolls it up into a sphere, which is a very powerful shape in itself. And its eggs are there in that, and the eggs can feed off the dung. And so that it's this whole cycle of life. And I'm ad-libbing there because I've researched this deeply, but it's just quickly, in that it's a whole cycle of life. And from the smallest thing, it has the biggest participation, because everything else around it is gifted in some way by that kind of activity, that kind of balance. And so it creates a balance, and it creates a cycle, and it represents the cycle of life and creation and fertility, and having the abundance of done. And so this is where, to see that on his head, and to have him poised there, having his ankh in his hand, and having his wand very ready, and he's sort of got his shoulders back and breathing in, poised, ready to take action. This 3 of Wands again on the bottom of the deck. But it does speak of fertility. So if you don't want to get pregnant, be careful, you know, take whatever precautions you're led to take. But it speaks of very powerful sex magic, as I've spoken to in the past. And again, you do this with discernment, because it's powerful either way. If you can reach that space where you're going into the magical side of that creative space during sex, then depending on whether you're doing it in an unmatched state, in an unbalanced state, or a beautifully matched state and balanced state, you're going to create either way. And so you have to be careful of what you're creating. Hi Theodore. So we've got changed the tack now, so but also creative endeavors in. I'm 6 now, because it's been my birthday. You're 6 now, yes. Everybody said happy birthday to you. So also in your creative endeavors, the release of this 10 of Wands that we spoke about, with this, with whatever this is, this ending, this big ending to a burdensome cycle, the relief of this creates the space, the flow. This is about flow and balance today, of the Ace of Wands, of creative, new prospects, new endeavors, new creations, and you're driven, you're fired, you're passionate, you're ready to go. So we have the Emperor. Wow. Another fiery card, often representing Aries, which again would be ready to go, the fire starter, you know, the start of things, creation. And also I noticed on this Emperor card, I'm noticing more things about these cards today. We have here the atropic, I think it is here, this symbol. And so this is to ward off evil eye, to protect from evil. And the Emperor is a major arcana, number 4, sturdy foundations, but it is an authority, a protective authority over structures, over the makeup of things. And so this is where, you know, this is the energy, either you're bringing this energy for yourself today, or somebody else around you is offering this energy of protection, of guidance, and of protection from evil eye, evil spirits. So it is a very old symbol, and again these symbols are used. This is an old Viking symbol, and it is also being used, again taken by the Vikings and used by churches, and it's even on the Tower of London. And so this is where we get the aspect of these symbols are very, very powerful, but it is always the intent behind them and the movement behind them. So this is about you taking authority over your own self, not just in the physical, but in the spiritual realm also, in the energetic realm, in the mental realm, taking authority over all of your elements. Is super, super important for your transition into other levels. And particularly with this 2 of Pentacles that I was speaking of, because there's a need for this protection. There's a need for us in the spiritual community to ramp up our personal and collective protections. And being very wise about what we let enter into our ether, into our spiritual realm, into our energetic realm and physical. And so this is a warning of the people that you let into your life in the physical, and also combined with what might be attached to those people. So if you get that gut instinct, even if the person is lovely, but you have that like, oh, something's following you. If you're strong enough, it might be that you can help take authority over that, or help the person take authority over that. But what I'm feeling is that a lot of the time is that you're going to have to just say, I'm sorry, and exit left, because you don't need that. You do not need those attachments that others aren't willing to let go of, or others aren't willing to learn about in order to let go of, or others indeed are actively inviting into their lives, because by proxy you will be in its sphere. And that is, we need very much discernment right now. We need to be taking that discernment real seriously in the magical spiritual realm. Because what I mentioned at the start of the reading with the activity, the 3 of Wands, it is rife right now. And it's going to ramp up that bit more and that bit more. And so we do need to be grounded and ready and taking authority over our own lives in every aspect. And so that we're ready and able to be sturdy and grounded when and as the times come that we need to be able to be capable of protecting ourselves in every which way. And so the other one is the circumpunct here, which is the circle here. And it represents, it's a super old symbol. And again, like I say, all people have used it. The alchemist sees this as the symbol for gold. It's been seen as the symbol for the sun, the spirit, or Bitchute. The Freemasons use it often for apprentices or a sign of generative purposes and principles. But then the Gnostics see it as a God symbol. The Pythagoreans, it's beginning of creation and and the formity of everything, the beginning of everything. And so this is where also it's seen as in the magical realm of the conscious man, of the aware man. And so again, these symbols are very, very powerful. I have personal experience of powerful symbols and what they do. Again, this is a protective symbol also over evil spirits, so to speak. And again, is on the Tower of London. And so, but also churches have used it. And so this is where the symbols are yours, but because who can claim them really? And we can say, well, we know from this date they were stolen from this person, and this date was stolen and used from this person. Not long, baby. But again, it's the intent and how those symbols have been harnessed. Now it is a great time and a great deal time to have the ability to take back a lot of symbols that have been taken and turned around and used for harm on individuals and the collective by those so-called powers that be. And so to not use these symbols in the entirety, I think is a bit lax and a bit silly, because they're actually similar or the same symbols that those in the power, the so-called powers that be are using, but they're using them in a very low frequency way. And so this is where to use what is ours also to use against what they are using. This will help cancel it out. So it is time to get educated on the symbols that are ours to have and ours to use also. I forgot to put them in, baby, but then it started talking, and you know what happens when mommy touches computers. So that's the reading for, but I wanted to speak to, I've told you about the authority, the fire, the Aries, I've told you about those symbols that I noticed.
And 10 of swords.
And 10 of wands, maybe that is, yeah.
What?
Yeah, so that's it. So speaking of that, say bye-bye, Theodore.
Bye-bye.
That's the reading for the 5th of February 2021. I appreciate, love you all. Stay balanced and stay whole, and I'm sending out so much love to each and every one of you. Leave a comment, let me know how these energies are affecting you or how they aren't, what other energies you are noticing. That dialogue there is so important, and my goodness, I love the way you all come as individuals and just put a different spin on the same energies, which is very much similar to the symbols I was talking about. And so I love the fact that you guys bring this individual knowledge in different ways about the similar energies, because it's so powerful, and others are reading it and others are gaining from it. So I love that you do that and appreciate that you do that. I'm going to press the red button. Pressure, under pressure.
Yes, I know what that says. It says end.
So yeah, it does say end. Your reading is getting real good.
This man keeps reading me stories and I get more knowledge.
Yeah, you get more knowledge. He's getting more knowledge. Yeah, so don't just put out knowledge on here. I'm giving knowledge everywhere, like the seed girl. Knowledge seeds. Oh, spraying out knowledge seeds everywhere, Theodore. Come on, do some knowledge seeds. Like this. No? Okay. I love you all. Appreciate you all. Mwah.